Okay, thank you for joining the Vendio webinar on how to use Vendio Handmade to send your Etsy items to Amazon Handmade. Should you not have an Etsy account, I will also be covering creating Amazon Handmade items from scratch from within Vendio. My name is Nathan, and Sylvia, Vendio's Senior Product Manager, is also here to help answer questions. If you do have any questions for us, please type those questions into the questions box of the webinar widget during the webinar, and we will do our best to answer your questions at the end. During today's webinar, we will be covering topics such as how to use our setup wizard to import your Etsy items and send them to Amazon Handmade, how to bulk edit your items to make them compliant with Amazon's rules, how to create an item from scratch and send it to Amazon Handmade, and also where to find your Amazon Handmade orders from within your Vendio account. Let's start by going through the setup wizard. You may find the setup wizard from within your Vendio account by going to My Vendio in the menu at the top, and then click on My Vendio Handmade. Once you're on the setup wizard, just go ahead and click the Start Now button at the center of the page. If you have already connected your Etsy account to your Vendio account, then you're already halfway there. But if you haven't connected it yet, just go ahead and click the Continue to Etsy button. And then you'll be redirected to Etsy. If you are not yet signed into your Etsy account, then you will need to sign in. But if you're already signed in, then you should be right on a page that looks very similar to this here. This page on Etsy is just letting you know that Vendio is asking to connect to your Etsy account. And it also lets you know what information and permissions Vendio has once those accounts have been connected. So go ahead, give it a quick read, make sure that you agree with everything, and assuming that you do, just click the Allow Access button at the bottom of the page. All right, you have now connected your Etsy account to your Vendio account. It's that simple. You get routed back to Vendio to the Setup Wizard, and you can see that your Etsy account is now registered with Vendio. And go ahead and just click the Next Step button. Now we can import our Etsy products into Vendio. We're going to be able to use that product data that we import from Etsy to easily create products on your Amazon Handmade account. There are some more advanced import settings, and if you are already using Vendio for other marketplaces, such as eBay, then you will probably want to take a look at these settings. However, if you are not yet using Vendio for other marketplaces and you're just using it for Amazon Handmade, then you can probably skip the advanced settings and just go ahead with the defaults and click the Import All My Etsy Products button. And so your Etsy products are now importing. This will usually take a few minutes. It really depends on the number of Etsy items that you have for how long the import will take. But while we're waiting for that to happen, let's take a look at how you can get your Amazon Handmade account connected to your Vendio account. First, we're going to go ahead and click the Link Your Amazon Account button. And this will direct us right on over to Amazon to sign in. And then we'll just sign in to the Amazon account. Depending on how you have your account set up, you may need to use two-step verification. You may not, it really just depends on your Amazon account settings, but mine is set up that way. So I need to grab that code really quick here so that we can log in. And so we'll go ahead and enter that in. And now we are on the page on Amazon to connect our Amazon account to our Vendio account. There is a short message letting you know what you are agreeing to here. Make sure you take a quick look and that you do agree with it. And assuming that you do, go ahead and check the box to the left that says you understand, and then click Next. And then once we're on the next page, we just have to click the Continue button to complete the connection. All right, and then we're back at the setup wizard, and our Amazon Handmade account and Vendio accounts are now connected. So the tool that we use to list to Amazon Handmade, it works using a toolbar that's installed on your internet browser. So you do have to keep in mind that if you are using multiple devices, so different computers, to use Vendio for Amazon Handmade, then you will need to install that toolbar on each device that you are using. At this point, we currently support Chrome and Opera, so you will need to use either Chrome or Opera to use Vendio to list to Amazon Handmade. We are planning though on adding support for additional browsers over time. This does include Firefox and Safari, and we do expect the Firefox support to be available very soon, so you'll be able to use Firefox with it as well. But at this point, you'll want to use either Chrome or Opera, and again, you will need to install the toolbar on each device that you are using with Vendio for Amazon Handmade. So we're just going to go ahead and click the Install Add-on button. If you are using Chrome like I am right now, that it will look like this. If you are using Opera, it'll look very similar, but it will look a little bit different. And so we're just going to go ahead and click the button at the top right to add to Chrome. And then we get this message asking if you want to add it. Just go ahead and click Add Extension. And then it'll just take a few seconds for that extension to be added. Once it's done, you should get this message letting you know that Amazon Handmade has been added to Chrome, and you can just close out of this tab. And then we're back on the setup wizard, and it's letting us know that the setup is almost complete. And we're going to go ahead and just click Next Step. And so next, we're going to get a list of all of our products. At the top here, these 6 items at the top are the items that we imported from Etsy earlier on in the webinar. And so we're just going to go ahead and send these items on over to Amazon Handmade. You can select an entire page of items at a time by using the box at the top left, or you can individually select items by checking the boxes to the left of them. Also, you can search for a specific item. You can search the title using the search box at the top. Once you have selected the items that you want to send to Amazon Handmade, go ahead and click the Send to Amazon Handmade button at the bottom right of the page. And you'll now be able to see all of the information that was imported from Etsy, and you can make any changes that you need to make. For example, maybe you need to change the price for one of these items for Amazon Handmade. So you could just go to the price box, and maybe that needs to be $1.50 instead of 50 cents, and you can go ahead and change that price. Or maybe you need to change your production time. If you just had to change it for one item, you could again just change that one box. But perhaps you need to increase your production time for all of the items. In that case, you would use the box at the very top, put in the new amount, and then click the Copy Down button. And you can now see that that price has been copied to all of the items on the list. You have the little red indicator to let you know which fields have been changed. All right, you can also notice too your categories. So your Etsy categories have automatically been mapped to the appropriate Amazon categories for you. So you shouldn't need to select the categories. Again, though, you do want to double check all the data here to make sure it's correct. And one other thing too that's pretty helpful is that you can bulk edit your item descriptions. So often when someone is selling on Etsy, they might have some text that's specific to Etsy. It may even include the word Etsy, and for obvious reasons, that's not allowed on Amazon Handmade. So if you do have any text that is similar across all or many of your items, then you can edit it in bulk using this bulk edit description button at the top. So we're going to go ahead and click that. And then you have a couple different options here You can either find an exact string of text using the find this matching text option, or you can find text that starts in one way and ends in another way. So you may have some common text that begins and ends the same way in all of your items, but what's in between might be a little bit different, and then you would use the second option here. And then you can also replace that text that's found either with a new string of text, or you can just delete it altogether, depending on what you need to do there. Let's go ahead and find the words test only. If you look kind of in the background here, you can see that some of our descriptions have the word test only in it. That one there does, and this one down here does as well. Let's go ahead and change that. So let's find the words test only, and let's replace it with the words this is a test. We do still want to indicate that it's a test. So let's make that change there, and then we'll click the replace all button. And you can see now that the text has changed from test only to this is a test, and the items that are changed are indicated by the little red indicator here, so you can easily tell which items have been updated. All right, so once you're happy with all of the data here and you are ready to send it on over to Amazon Handmade, you have a few choices. You can either just save the changes without publishing them for individual items using the Save Only buttons at the right, or you can save and publish individual items using the Save and Publish button to the right. Or if you want to save all of the items, you can use the Save All button at the bottom, or you can save and publish all of the items to Amazon Handmade using the Save and Publish Amazon Ready items from this list button at the bottom of the page. Now we're going to go ahead and click that and see if we get any errors. Oh, and you can see that we do have some errors. So if there is any information that needs to be added before you can successfully publish, then you will get the message here letting you know that the items are not yet ready to publish. And then the field that needs to be changed will be highlighted in red. If you hover your mouse over it, you can even see the specific information that Amazon Handmade is requiring that we need to add in. So we do need to add in the gender for these items. So we're going to go ahead and click Edit Details. And you can see here on the Attribute and Details page, there are quite a few options. So you can go ahead and put in any of the data that you have. The only fields that are required are the fields that are in green. So those are the required fields. The other additional information is not required, but again, if you do have that information, it is good information to add. The only field that we need to add in right now in order to get this item listed is the gender. So we're going to go ahead and select a gender and then click the Set Details button at the bottom right of the page. And then we're just going to do this for each of the items. You can see after we made that change, it now shows ready under the Amazon Readiness column. And so I'm just going to very quickly go ahead and set a gender for each of these items. And just one more left here. All right, now that we have set that information that was missing, we're going to go ahead and click again the Save and Publish Amazon Ready Items from this list button at the bottom of the page. And you can see now that the items are being sent to Amazon Handmade. And we'll just give that a few seconds or so for those items to go through. And you can see the status bar that lets us know what the progress is. And then once the item's successfully sent, you'll get a congratulations message for each of those items. All right, so you can see that these items were all successfully published at Amazon. Let's go ahead and check the status of these items. So to check the status, we'll go to Channels in the menu at the top, and then we'll go to My Listings. And you can see these 6 items at the top are the items that we just published to Amazon Handmade. You might notice too, if you take a look at the marketplace type column, if you do also sell on the regular Amazon site, then you can tell the difference between the items that you're selling on Amazon Handmade from the regular Amazon site by looking at the logo in this column. The items that are going to the regular Amazon site will show the regular Amazon logo, and then the handmade items will have the blue handmade part of the logo showing underneath Amazon. So that way you can easily tell which items are Amazon handmade and which are the regular Amazon site. And you can see here too, it might take a minute or so for the ASIN to be assigned. These 2 have already been assigned and these 4 are pending. I'm just going to go ahead and refresh the page. Most likely those will have been assigned too. Not quite yet, but it looks like we're almost there. In the meantime, let's go ahead and take a look at one of the ones where the ASIN has already been assigned, and you can do that by just clicking on the ASIN number. This will redirect us to Amazon, and probably the first thing that you notice is the image is not showing up yet. This is normal. There's nothing to be concerned about here. It does take a little bit of time for Amazon to process those images and for them to actually show up on the Amazon listing. So again, that's very normal. It'll just take a bit of time for Amazon to process those images. All right, next, let me show you where you can go if an item is currently in progress or if it's failed. You can do that by clicking the Views button here, and then you can either go to the In Progress or the Errored section. That way, if something happens and the error for some reason isn't caught at the beginning, you should be able to see it in the Errored section here, and then the error message would be displayed. All right, next, let's take a look at how to edit an item that's already active on Amazon Handmade. To do this, we're going to go to My Vendio in the top left, and then My Vendio Handmade. Very similar to how we sent the items over to begin with, you can either select an entire page at once using the box at the top left, or you can select individual items by putting check marks in the boxes to the left of them, and then click the Send to Amazon Handmade button at the bottom right of the page. You can then edit any of the fields that are available here if you need to make any changes. Let's go ahead, for example, maybe we need to change back that this is a test bit to say test only. And we can just make that change, and that's changed back. And then you again have the same options. You can either just save the changes, or you can save and publish them, or you can use the buttons at the bottom of the page to either save all the items or save and publish all of the items. That would be all the changes to Amazon Handmade. All right, let's take a look next at where we can go if you need to remove an item from Amazon. If you do need to remove an item from Amazon, you'll want to go to Channels in the menu at the top, and then My Listings. And then we'll make sure we go to the Active View. And then you'll just put check marks in the boxes to the left of the items that you want to remove from Amazon Handmade. And then click Actions, End Listings. And then it'll ask you if you're sure, and you just go ahead and click Yes. And we have now successfully removed those items from Amazon Handmade. All right, next we're going to take a look at how to create an item from scratch and send it over to Amazon Handmade. Please do keep in mind that at this point in time, it's not possible to manage items that you created directly through your Amazon Handmade account from within your Vendio account. So you can create your items through Vendio for Amazon Handmade and manage those items, and you can import from Etsy and send those over to Amazon Handmade. But at this point, if you do have any items that you created through Amazon Handmade directly, unfortunately, it's not possible to manage those through your Vendio account, at least for now. But we're going to go ahead and create an item from scratch. And to do that, we're going to go to Items in the menu at the top of the page, and then Create Items. And now that we are on the Create Items page, we're going to check the box for Amazon, and then check the box for Handmade. After we've done that, we'll just click the Next button, either at the top right or the bottom right of the page. At a minimum, you will need to fill in the fields that are in green, but I would also recommend filling in some of the other fields. If you don't fill the other fields in now, then you will be able to fill them in later as a different part of the process. But if you do fill them in now, you can still edit them later, and that information will already be available for you later on in the process. So I do recommend filling in the information that you have as you go through this process. But we'll start by giving the item a title. And then we'll go ahead and add an image by clicking the Add Images button. I am going to go ahead and select an existing image that I already have in my account. If you need to upload the images, you can do it right from here. And just click the Upload button to upload those images from your computer. And then once you have uploaded the images and selected the image or images that you want, just go ahead and click the Attach Selected button. And you can see the images here. Then we're just going to give a description for the item. And we will enter in a price. You can also see there are profiles at the bottom of the page. If you are using Vendio for other marketplaces such as eBay, then these will be important for you. If not, if you're only using it for Amazon Handmade, then you can simply ignore the profile section. It's not relevant to Amazon Handmade. And once you fill that information in, just go ahead and click the Next button. Then we'll enter in our inventory quantity and click Save at either the top right or bottom right of the page to save this item. Now that that item has been saved, we will next go to My Vendio at the top left of the menu, and then My Vendio Handmade. And you can see that the item that we created is here at the top of the page. We'll go ahead and put a check mark in the box to the left of that item, and then click Send to Amazon Handmade at the bottom right of the page. You will notice there is more information that you need to fill out than you had to when you imported items from Etsy, and that's simply just because we do not already know that information from the Etsy items. So for example, you will need to select your category, which you can do right here, and fill in all of the other information that's relevant to the item. You will notice though that the information we entered in earlier is already showing up. That's including your images, your description, your title, the price, basically the information that we entered earlier is already copied on over to the section for sending to Amazon Handmade. Once you have entered in all of that information, the same buttons that we used before to either save and publish an individual item, or if you have multiple items at once, to save all of them or to save and publish all of the items that are on the list. Right, now let's go ahead and take a look at where your Amazon Handmade orders show within your Vendio account. To do that, we'll go to Orders at the top of the page and then Sold Items. And so your orders will show on this page. If you do sell on the regular Amazon site as well, they will also show here. At this point in time, both the regular Amazon orders as well as the Amazon Handmade orders will show the same logo, the regular Amazon logo. We hope to be able to differentiate those at some point in the future, but for now, they will both appear the same. So just kind of be aware of that when you go about processing your orders, that they are mixed in together here. On this page, you can click the details button to the left of one of the orders in order to view more details. So we're going to do that now. And you can find quite a bit of information about the order. You have the item title, you have the SKU for the item. You can click on that SKU in order to view the item in Vendio. You have the quantity that was ordered, the price, the shipping cost if there was one. You can enter in the tracking number here and select the carrier that was used. If you scroll down a bit, you can see the billing address, you can see the shipping address, you can see when payment was received, you can mark the order as shipped and enter in the ship date, and quite a bit of other information as well. But in addition to the details page, you can get some good information just from the main sold items page as well. So one thing I would recommend taking a look at is the view options button, which is at the top right of your list of orders. If you click on that button, you'll see that there are different fields that you can either turn on or turn off on this page here. You can just uncheck a field to turn it off or check a field to turn it on. And that's a really good way to customize what you can see on this page. Also, if you don't want to go into the item details to mark an order as shipped, you can do that using the ship button. If you want to print postage through our integration with the Postal Service, that's an option. Or if you're doing it through a different service, you can just enter in the tracking information here and select your carrier there. And there are also different tabs that will separate out your orders. So this is the All tab, so it will show all the orders. But for example, if you only wanted to see orders that needed to be shipped, you could go to the Needing Shipment tab. Or if you only wanted to see orders that have been canceled, you could go to the Cancel tab. All right, we are almost done, but there are a few other things that I wanted to cover first. First, I wanted to make sure you're aware that we are working on full Etsy support. At this time, it is possible to import your items from Etsy, and we are working on adding an option where you can then also create and manage your Etsy items from within your Vendio account, and then you would also be able to manage your Etsy orders from within Vendio. We do hope to have that complete and available by the beginning of January, so that's the current estimated time there for that. Please do keep in mind as well that we do support other marketplaces such as eBay, and you can use the same data that's in your Vendio account for your Etsy or Amazon Handmade items and send that over to, for example, eBay as well. Vendio will then keep track of your inventory data for you across those channels. So across, in this example, across eBay and Amazon Handmade, and then once it's fully supported, you'd also be able to keep track of that data for Etsy as well. All right, this concludes the Vendio webinar on using Vendio Handmade to send your Etsy items to Amazon Handmade. I really hope that you found the information helpful. Let me take a look and see if there are any questions. I don't see any questions yet, but I will give it a few minutes. If anyone does have a question, please go ahead and type that question into the question box widget for the webinar widget, I should say. Just go ahead and type that question into that question box if you do have any questions. And while we are waiting to see if there are any questions, I did want to make sure you're aware how to get help. If you do need help, please go ahead and use the help link, which is at the top right of most pages in your Vendio account. And you have a few different options to contact support. If you do need any help at all, please do use that help link. and reach out to us so that we can help you with whatever you need. All right, it looks like we do not, oh, there we go. It looks like we just got a question here. Let me see here. And it says here, the question is, oh, it looks like there's two questions. Oh, no, there we go. Question is, to be clear, Etsy item and sales management is done via Etsy rather than Vendio, correct? Yes, for now. At this point in time, to create or manage your Etsy items or manage your Etsy orders, you will need to do that through Etsy directly, but we are working on changing that. So hopefully the beginning of January is what we're looking at. You will be able to create and manage your Etsy items through Vendio and your Etsy orders through Vendio at that time. But at this point in time, that's correct that that does need to be done through Etsy directly. All right, are there any other questions? We'll just give it another minute or two, just in case there are any other questions here. All right, it looks like that is it for the questions. Thank you very much again for joining us for this webinar. Thank you for Sylvia for being on hand. I know we didn't have any questions we needed you to answer, but thank you for being here to be available for that. And thank you all for joining the webinar. I really hope that you found it useful, and have a great day.